Coming up on this episode of the Village Idiom.
I made dinner the other night from scratch, and the kids...
But did you?
Yeah. Yes, I did, right from scratch. And my kids were like all like crying and everything, and scratch is like a stupid name for a guinea pig anyway. But making dinner from scratch was a... Village Idiom. Hello and welcome to the Village Idiom.
We are a podcast that takes a popular saying and takes a shallow but hopefully comedic dive into its usage, its origins, but otherwise we just hang our directionless conversation on it and have some fun. Hello everybody, my name is Jurassic Mark.
And I am Skinny. Happy New Year, my dude.
Happy New Year.
Very exciting.
First one of 2020.
That's it. We've 1 year down, one next one coming up.
We kind of made our own New Year's resolution to have guests, and well...
Started off with just you and me.
We have failed. So much for our resolution.
That sums up New Year's, doesn't it?
Isn't it? Do you have
week one fail? Day one.
Do you do New Year's resolutions? Or do you even try?
Yeah, I go about a different. It's like,
because you seem like the guy who just doesn't try.
Yeah. In general, I have the countenance of a man who's given up. The last year when we started off, I was gung ho, man. I'm gonna drop like a bunch of
for
weight.
The podcast.
No, just in general. Yeah, I made sure I talked about it at the beginning of last year.
Yeah.
And so dropped 20 pounds, but I think this year I've actually dropped 30 pounds.
Oh, there you go.
I've put on 20.
Oh, okay.
So I'm down net loss of 10.
That's a great way to do it. If you just every week or every day you weigh yourself, and every time it goes down, you count that. I lost 100 pounds this year.
Really?
Well,
I gained 100.
I've gained just as much.
But yeah, so I'm at just 1 year, 10 pounds. You know, maybe
1 year, 10 pounds.
Maybe over the course of the next 3-4 years, I'll get myself down to just be overweight.
Yeah, you were talking about it quite a bit at the beginning last year. I forgot about that.
I was going gung ho, but it's one of those things. At this time of year,
you had a cruise. You had a lot of things that are just like built to gain weight.
Yeah,
well, but I don't think you gained.
It wasn't that. It's eggnog. Eggnog and shortbread. It's so just like jamming
lost
calories.
90 pounds and then Christmas season came.
Oh my goodness, I love eggnog. Oh, it's so delicious.
Do you like fruitcake? Speaking of Christmas treats.
They have not invented a thing that I don't care for. I like about everything. I would try everything. If I was going to a restaurant,
I get a fruitcake from my parents every Christmas.
It's delicious.
I should bring it in. It's like,
so I want to start off with, you might be doing it wrong.
Doing what wrong?
Have you considered slathering it in caramel sauce?
You're talking about fruitcake?
Yes.
No, I love the fruitcake.
So you're a fruitcake lover?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you hated the fruitcake.
No, I love
a lot of people don't like the fruitcake.
I know, that's what I was asking.
Oh, I love the fruitcake.
Okay.
Yeah. But if you put like sauces on things that even you don't like become palatable if you get the right sauce for it.
Right.
Yeah.
Like my daughter, she'll eat almost anything with ketchup.
There you go.
Like, I don't want broccoli. Want some ketchup with that?
Okay.
She's in.
Well, you want me to put some tomatoes and sugar and salt on it? Yeah. I'm in. So yeah, it's good.
It is good. It's good. I'm glad.
Well, let's get into what are we actually talking about today?
We're going to start our New Year's off. Actually, this is a little. You got to be patient for this clip.
All right.
It's longer than normal.
Well, I'll interject so that we don't get copyright strikes.
Well, we're already off and running for the new year because I had no volume on that. So,
well, it's okay. We can start it up again.
We'll probably don't start.
Here we go.
No, that's great.
Here we go.
It's great.
Well, okay. Well, I bought this piano for my kids so they could learn, and neither of them wanted to. And then I just decided, screw them. I'll learn piano.
Great.
I don't know.
Great. So we're starting from scratch.
Yeah, from scratch.
Great.
There it is. That's so funny.
And that's today's idiom. We are starting from scratch.
No one talks so poorly about their children like that outside of Louis C.K.
Yeah, it was. I know. It's one of those things where I'm like, am I still allowed to play?
Do you know Bill Burr does that as well?
He does talks badly about his kids.
And little Jim Gaffigan in there talk about.
So Louis C.K., Jim Gaffigan. Who did you just say? Bill Burr.
Yeah.
And Skinny.
Yeah. Well,
you're a good company.
I try not to. Yeah, that's great.
Did you see Bill Burr on The Mandalorian?
Oh, that was so amazing. Spoilers, but if you haven't seen that episode of The Mandalorian, you're not a real fan anyway.
It's not a spoiler of the show.
Oh,
it's just so that it's Bill Burr.
I loved seeing Bill Burr. I liked his little back gun.
Yeah. Oh man, he was geared up. That was phenomenal.
It's funny, and it's hard. You're like, because even if he says something like a little bit off, it's funny because it's Bill Burr.
I know.
Yeah.
I thought it was like, I'm like, really, Bill Burr? And then I'm like, nah, he was cast perfectly.
Yeah, it's like it's not comedian Bill Burr. It's just like light.
It still has his
yeah.
personality.
Yeah, it's good. A little rough around the edges.
Yeah.
And, the Mandalorian.
What is that? Like a New York kind of accent? Like just
he is Boston.
Boston. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Anyway, start from scratch or starting from scratch, starting over. That is today's idiom, which of course means to start from the beginning or to embark on something without any prep, without an advantage. You're starting from scratch.
I made dinner the other night from scratch, and the kids.
But did you?
Yeah. Yes, I did. Right from scratch. And my kids were like all like crying and everything. And scratch is like a stupid name for a guinea pig anyway. But making dinner from scratch was a real valuable. Was really valuable.
That was so well done. Oh my goodness.
So yes, preparing things from scratch is a good thing.
Starting from scratch. Yeah. Wow, that's good. That was really good. Did you find that?
Nothing warms me more than seeing you get blindsided by a
I
funny.
was like, did you really? Because sometimes, because when you say I made dinner from scratch, I'm like, sometimes we like, yeah, I made this from scratch.
From a box.
Yeah, but then when you look at it, we're like, well, this part was
Well, I took it out of the box.
I made pizza from scratch. The dough was already dough
The
in a
sauce
package.
was already made.
But
cheese
I
was-
didn't order it in, is what I'm saying.
Right. I heated it in an oven.
Yeah. I will say, speaking of cooking, and we'll get to the origins in a second here, but when people use the word scratch, start from scratch, I made this from scratch regarding cooking quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I was like, did you really? When I thought you were being serious. But again, seriously, they need to sponsor us. HelloFresh. I've been doing HelloFresh for at least a year now.
Right.
And it is from scratch. Like they send you the ingredients, but it's like you're pressing your own whatever. You're like it's just,
Let's just
raw
assume
vegetables and meat. And
HelloFresh will sponsor us, and then we'll just keep
we'll
advertising
just
them.
keep advertising
'Cause we love
This is
HelloFresh.
coming from my heart. I love HelloFresh.
Yeah,
it's like
I've eaten HelloFresh from you.
right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That you've prepared HelloFresh.
Yeah. And it's like there's no.
It was amazing.
I mean, the most not from scratch thing that might come with it is sour cream. Like I'm not churning milk to make sour
Sure.
cream, but other than that, it's just raw ingredients and follow the directions, and so you feel like I made that from scratch.
I did that.
Yeah,
It's
I
awesome.
get a lot of compliments with the HelloFresh when I make a meal, and I feel like
Why?
I can just follow directions. That's like there's no.
Isn't that what
this is
cooking
not
is?
me. Yeah, I know, but I don't know. It feels like you need to have no recipe in front of you to receive a
Oh
compliment.
no! Who can remember all that?
I don't know.
Nonsense. All of that is.
Okay.
So but I was thinking about that starting from scratch, and there's a few ways that gets played out in life and society. Like if you are a bowler or a golfer, you might have a scratch handicap.
Okay, well, let's get into origins. Are you ready for that?
Sure. It's the abridged origins. I like it.
Yeah, there we go. So you are exactly right. This term originated in the sporting world, where scratch it's been used since the 18th century, and originally, what the examples you just gave, originally it was just literally the scratch on the ground for a starting line. So if you're gonna have a foot race, you draw a scratch on the ground.
Right.
This is where we start. So you would start from scratch.
You start from the scratch.
Yeah. And then this I thought was interesting. Have you heard the phrase toe the scratch? No, I hadn't either. But
So I'm gun shy with if he says something slightly off, is this the beginning of a joke?
no, this is not a joke. Toe the scratch, which as I was researching the origins of starting from scratch or from scratch,
Because you got me hooked in right now. Whatever you're about to say,
No,
I believe it.
It's this is the truth. Toe the scratch kept coming up, and I'm like, I've never heard of that. But have you heard of toe the line?
Yeah, toe the line.
Toe the line. So it's the exact same phrase, but it comes from boxing. So you used to have a line diagonally across the boxing ring, and to start, you would put your toe on the line or toe on the scratch. and toe the scratch. And that's where toe the line comes from, is boxers' toes on the line. That's where they would begin. And so that's where...
Which, crossing the line makes a lot of sense. Someone crossed the line. You crossed the line.
Oh, I wonder if that's where that comes from.
It has to. You crossed the line on that one.
You crossed the scratch.
Right, because you're ahead of...
Interesting. Yeah, maybe. So boxing, golf, cricket, which, we'll get to it, and any sport that involves some sort of race that use lines on the ground, regulations, historians, each sport have some version along the way, even if it's been dropped over the years, of using the word scratch. But cricket has the strongest claim to being the originator because anyone who's played cricket as a child, did you ever play cricket? Have you ever played cricket in your life?
I've seen guys in the neighborhood, like at sports parks, practicing. Yeah, usually Southeast Asian, they're fanatical, love cricket.
If you watch...
I still don't understand the rules.
I don't understand it either, but when you see the intensity, you're like, this is fascinating.
Yeah.
Like, I could watch it.
They get that ball moving and put spins on it.
Yeah.
And that crazy arm windmill motion. And
so in cricket, there's batting, there's bowling creases, and they'll have scratched them out on the ground to make the pitch, and so they think that it first got used, the first time that such a scratch, quote unquote, is referred to in print is a cricketing manual. So John Nearen's Young Cricketer's Tutor, 1833, records this line from a 1778 work by somebody named Cotton, and it's, "Ye strikers, stand firm to your scratch, let your bat be upright." And so, most likely in the sporting world, started with cricket and then became... predominantly used for foot races, like you start from scratch, you start on the line. But then we go to where you started us off with, which is golf and anything that could otherwise have a...
Bowling was where...
Bowling.
For me, I bowled in the league as a kid. I was a 10-pin league bowler.
Oh, yeah?
And so scratch bowling, I'm terrible. I'm still terrible. But when you see a real person bowl, they have no handicap. So that there's a non-handicapped
start
system.
From scratch.
You're starting from scratch.
Yeah.
So they're a scratch bowler.
So even in a
scratch.
foot race, if you gave someone a head start and somebody else didn't get a head start, they'd be starting from scratch.
Right.
So any advantage or any non-advantage is starting from scratch. So how does a handicap, like I'm not a golfer or a bowler really, how does that work? You literally just get free points?
So,
like in golf,
someone can comment on this if you have a more proper way of looking at it. So, a scratch golfer, a par for a golf course is 72. So that would be, I think there's 4 5-hole, 4 3-hole, and 10 4-hole holes.
What do you mean 4-hole? There's 1 hole in every hole.
4 shots to complete that hole
to be par.
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
8 pars, 4 par 3s, 4 par 5s.
If there was more holes, I'd be a much better golfer.
It's like that's the wrong one. That's mini golf that you're talking about.
All right.
And so your average to be someone who scores 72. So I would be a bogey and a half golfer. I need like a hole plus a half in order to compete with somebody who is...
So it levels the game.
Right. So I'm going to need 18 plus 9. I'm going to need 27 strokes.
I'm not following on
I'm going to
this,
need 27 strokes advantage to compete with you. So if you're a scratch golfer, a bogey golfer needs one extra shot per hole. So 18 extra shots in order to compete with you. So if you get a 72, I'm going to get a 90. So in order to have a game that's even, anything that I score above 90 will be everything that you score above 72. If you're a scratch golfer and I'm a bogey golfer.
So it's literally just to make it fun? Like, why would you ever apply a handicap? Like, you either beat me or you don't.
Well, that's what an open... So if you see a tournament that's an open...
Okay.
So it's just your skill set. So there is no advantages given in that way. There's no like a strokes given or...
Everyone start from scratch.
Everyone's starting on that level playing field. It's just your ability.
Okay.
And so if I get a 90 on a par 72, then that's what I get. But if you get a 72, then just because you're way better than I am. Where if it's a handicapped tournament, then everything that I would score, say, above 90 would be my baseline, and that your baseline is 72. So, yeah.
Well,
good talking to you.
Unfair. That seems unfair.
Seems glazed
It's like,
over.
let's have a 100-yard dash race, but I'm going to start at yard 90.
They do it in all sorts of things. Cars, when you know, like that lighting tree that comes down with like cars, it's like orange, green.
Yeah.
But when you go see pro races, they're not the same timing, and so you've got your side of the tree, my side of the tree, and so there might be start off orange and then orange, green on your side, and the other side is still on the oranges, so that you get like a half-second head start.
Why?
So, to keep it competitive, just fun. It's like, yeah. So an open would just be that we're just head-to-head with whatever we have ability.
But then if the person that starts from scratch loses, do they really?
Well, they'll still have a superior car. There'll still be a superior golfer or superior bowler in just that raw talent. But in order to compete,
So it's like racing against your children.
So if I do better, and I'm like, oh man, like that guy scored like he only like a half a bogey. He just say I only needed 10. Then my handicap starts to decrease until I become scratch. So every tournament, everything, all compiles together.
I think this is also where the other idiom, I let you win, comes from.
I know that rabbit trailed into boredom really quick.
No, it's interesting. I'm
Well, it's
like,
to keep things competitive.
Yeah, but it's not competitive then.
Sure, you see, you're competing against you to be better than you, and I'm.
Yeah, you're competing against yourself.
But you're infinitely better than I am.
But if you're competing
that's not a
against
dispute.
yourself, really, then
So who
you don't
would you
need the
compete with?
handicap.
So just say in an area, who would you compete with?
What do you mean?
Okay, you live in,
golf?
just say, let's say you live in some podunk area.
Yeah.
Let's call it Saskatchewan.
You're welcome.
Sorry, Saskatchewan. And so you're the best in Saskatchewan.
Okay.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Now, in order for you to compete, you're going to either have to go outside of Saskatchewan, or if you're going to compete against other Saskatchewantonians or whatever they are, Saskatchewanites.
Yeah.
Saskatchewanabes.
Wow. That's a good one.
You're going to have to find a way to level the playing field so people want to play you.
Okay.
Good talk.
So really,
It's not competitive. It's not fun.
Yeah.
Do you have something that you just clearly dominate other people?
No.
Okay, so I play foosball.
Yeah.
And then, so my height of heights when I was really into it, in 97, I flew to the World Championships. I've been 3-4 times, flown to Vegas, flown to Fort Worth, playing these massive tournaments that are international. It's a big thing. It's really fun. But when you play somebody who is like Jedi level better than you, it stops being fun.
Right.
And so
that doesn't change if you get a handicap.
Yeah, so what the handicap system does is that in a game that might go to 5, I might, depending on how big the gap is, they might have to give me a 2-goal advantage to start with so that it's competitive. But if you play in an open, it's just 0 against 0, and then watch them decimate you.
Right.
So it's not saying that they're not better. They're clearly better.
I just know that if I was playing against Michael Jordan in one-on-one,
he would destroy you.
And my hoop was 3 feet off the ground, and his was regulation 10. I was about to say, that'd be stupid. I'm not really playing Michael Jordan, but that'd still be the best game ever.
Exactly. Exactly. But just say if it was like a playing to 10, and he gives you an 8-basket advantage, so he has to score 10 before you score 2. That would be fun for him.
See, it wouldn't be fun for me. It'd be fun because I now have a story about how I played Michael Jordan. But other than that, that wouldn't be fun. Like if I'm playing against a stranger who's Michael Jordan level, I'm like, what am I playing? This is just embarrassing. Why am I playing?
Right. But what about for Michael Jordan to like, hey, I gotta actually try, like so that he ups himself.
Yeah, if that's the reason, if it's coming from on high and he needs minions to just like. Don't you ever get
just
that?
You're like,
anyone. Come on, I'll give you a 10-point advantage.
It's so satisfying watching Jordan's old footage. You see those highlight reels on like a.
We watched an
entire
game.
He was amazing.
Bulls against. I can't remember now, but like
they would 2-man cover, 3-man cover him, and he'd still.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, anyway,
we got off track there. So there you go. Came from the sporting world. Handicapped is super interesting to me. I just don't really get it. Hey, here's something while I was looking up. Starting from scratch, started in or was used a lot in pedestrianism. Do you know what that is?
Someone who loves people who walk.
Pedestrianism.
People who watches them from
Used to
binoculars.
be what we now call running. Used to be called pedestrianism.
No, it didn't.
You learn a little something every day.
That's stupid.
Yep, it's pretty awesome.
I can change it all. Let's change fields entirely. I'm gonna move it to the field of science. And so, as you know, like the universe and all of its vastness, you know, the most important element in the universe is
The most important element to me is oxygen.
no, it's scratch, because you can make anything from scratch.
Oh, nice. That's good. That's funny.
So,
I was also, this popped into my mind, Yahtzee. Do you play
Right.
Yahtzee? There's one box.
totally,
If you get nothing, you get scratch.
the scratch.
Yeah.
So this line where it all begins is kind of the overarching. This is the beginning point. That line in the sand. This is the
Yeah.
scratch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think your toe, scratching the toe, was from an actual toe, not TOW, but TOE?
Toe the line is TOE, isn't it?
I would think toe.
Like
pull.
pull. I did too
Like
until
towing.
I read this. I'm like, oh, toe the line comes from this. You put your toes on the line. It's your start. But toe the line, I use it more like carry your own weight.
Yeah, you need to
Toe the line.
Toe the line.
But it comes from
Well, that would be
a starting
TOW.
point. Yeah, I know. So I don't know. I'd have to look it up and see.
I wonder if this is one of those where it falls apart in English, but in like Latin or something.
Yeah, maybe.
It's a whole different word.
Maybe. I also started thinking just about the word scratch and DJs. I was thinking there's got to be some joke about a DJ. How'd you get your beginning? I started from scratch.
That's good.
You know, like, hey, did you hear about the DJ that had a new baby? You know what he named him? Eric. My niece told me that joke. Eric.
That's amazing. Why is that so satisfying?
I know, right? Okay.
It's those little quick ones that just catch you off guard.
Catch your breath. I'll give you another one here.
That's the best you can do? I'm screwed!
Not while I can use Final Cut Pro. We'll start from scratch.
There you go. Those
the
Simpsons,
Simpsons, yeah.
which are now just at my fingertips because of Disney Plus.
Oh, was Christmas good to you?
Christmas was good to me.
That's so fun.
Yeah,
It was one of those things that showed up at our home.
what's
was
that?
Disney Plus for Christmas.
Oh,
So, yeah.
see, well, yeah, I can say this. My oldest son, who is now married and moved out, he got it day one.
Okay.
He got. We did a podcast on his podcast channel, and we literally went through this before it opened, before it became available. We went through every listing that's on, like, from their earliest release, like literally Snow White, and we went through every listing until it got into like, oh, I remember seeing that. Oh, and then we got up to when they were born.
That's fun.
But he signed up for it and gave us all profiles on his account.
Well, that's fun.
We're just sharing the.
Some of that early, some of that early Disney stuff is a little off brand.
Yep, they've actually put out some press on. Yep, this was a different time. This is a different era.
Okay, so I'm not too this is not politicized, but maybe social commentary. Because didn't they go to town on the Guardians of the Galaxy guy, James Gunn, for having some off-color stuff that he did like on a tweet a decade earlier?
Probably.
Yeah, I think it was like you can't do the next.
That's just
I
the
think
way.
I think it was like you can't do Guardians of the Galaxy 3. You're fired
Because of something you
because
did.
of something you did a decade
Well,
ago.
that's
Some
everybody's
tweet,
story.
that
That's
was.
Kevin Hart. That's losing the Oscars. That's like so many people now. Like the last thing you want to do is be recording yourself weekly.
It was no, just because it was Disney, and
Yeah.
that was
Oh, Disney when
Disney fired James Gunn
Oh, that's ironic.
for being a little sketchy in some previous tweets he had done.
Yeah, let's just pull up Brer Rabbit,
Yeah, and then out comes like Song of the South or whatever.
Tar Babies, and
Some terrible things that were, and so all it takes is a little disclaimer. This was a different day.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. I haven't seen any of the. It's The Mandalorian. That's what I was excited about.
That's a great show.
The Mandalorian is
Man,
so
it's
amazing.
good.
Did you catch up on? So it's. Did you finally end up seeing Star Wars yet?
I haven't.
Oh, what?
I know. I have not. We were going to go on Christmas Day, and then
We should still give it another week or two before we start in with talking about it. Don't want to be the spoiling podcast.
I can't even talk about it. So, well, at least wait for me.
Well, anyways. So it's over. So now something new can be started from scratch. The 9-episode series is all wrapped up. So
Yeah,
whatever.
but it's not. I'm sure.
Oh, they could just keep making garbage, and I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah,
yeah. You can have.
But
my
did you
money.
get into all the sidebar stuff, like Clone Wars, the animated stuff?
Yep.
See, that I've kind of missed.
Watched it with all the kids. It was great.
I've heard.
Yeah. Particularly the Clone Wars specifically. There was a Rebels that was like, okay, but the Clone Wars was a great animation series.
Yeah, I think I started it when it first came out, and then I just lost track, and then it got so many episodes under me. I'm like, oh man, maybe I'll just miss this one. But I've seen everything else except for the newest.
It really filled in, so you saw the progression of Darth Maul inside of Clone Wars.
Oh,
So that when he showed up in Solo, at the end of Solo, I was like, was that Darth Maul? Like, I thought, didn't he get chopped in half by Obi-Wan or
Right.
whatever in The Phantom Menace? Holy geeking out right now. Whoa, I got to calm down. My heart, I could feel my heart start running faster.
it's right on par with our topic for today.
And so, yeah, because he's got robotic legs. Eric. That's him walking. Eric. So he had a robotic leg replacement, which is how he survived. But you learn all of that inside of the Clone Wars.
Oh,
And so when he shows up in
it's got to
Solo,
all work together.
when he shows
somehow.
up in Solo with I thought he was dead. It's like, no, he's got robotic legs.
I was so shocked when Han Solo came back in this most recent one. It's like how they don't even explain that.
What are you talking about?
Well, we play a little game.
I'm not going to be that guy.
Well, first of all, before we get into our riddling game, we've got some T-shirts to hand out, and the ones we've mentioned already have sent in their sizes and their addresses. We're going to get those out right away. So thank you for jumping in.
We have an additional one in there for Dobby Ravies.
Oh, of course. Dobby Ravies wrote our origin song.
Yes, and so he least gets we've actually used his almost every episode.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, good call. And I don't have it in front of me, but we've had a couple more chime in. And so Happy New Year, everybody. Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year. Let's do some Riddlink. We will get these shirts out to you.
Riddlink is a game we like to play that has a 2-part trivia-based question and requires a 2-part overlapping answer. So, for example, last week when we were talking about Christmas Comes But Once a Year, we left you with this one. This man with a nickname needed to see the scars on Jesus' hands to believe before he wrote For Christmas Comes But Once a Year. And a lot of people got this one correctly. And it was Doubting Thomas and Thomas Tusser. So Doubting Thomas Tusser is the answer. And someone even sent in a Doubting Thomas Tusser. I hardly know her. So that made me laugh. So they should get a shirt probably. Anyway, so that's how it works. Overlapping answer, this time by the word Thomas. So why don't we do a couple?
Yeah, let me get started by giving you one. You began before the beginning etch on the ground.
You began before the beginning etch on the ground. You began, like false start from scratch?
You're on the right track, but I was using a different one.
Nice answer. I'm on the right track.
Yeah.
Not false start. Pre-start, fake start. What was that? Read it to me again.
Yeah, you began. Actually, I like your answer better than my own answer.
False starting from scratch?
Yeah, let's go with that because that's good. I was doing a head start.
Oh, head start.
A head start from a head start from scratch. You began before the beginning etch on the ground, but a false start is actually a better answer.
The way you worded it, yeah.
Yeah.
But a head start, you could just, both are good. Okay, I got one for you. You ready?
Yep.
This song was made famous by Jiminy Cricket when he began with no advantage. Do you know the song he sings?
No.
From Pinocchio?
No, it's funny because all I have in my head now is Uncle Remus. I just have Zippity Doodah in my head. I'm like, it's not zippity-doo-dah.
from scratch.
It's not zippity-doo-dah. Stop saying it. Start. No.
So Jiminy Cricket, he's
Yeah, yeah.
probably sang other songs, but he's most famous for When You Wish Upon a...
Start from scratch.
Yeah.
So good. Of course he has. Ah, so good.
Okay, give me another one.
All right, I got another one for you here. All right. Go to the beginning with this PlayStation feline humanoid, mechanic and her sentient robot.
I'm not going to answer.
You like that one?
I'm not going to answer because I think the people should answer, because the one I was going to leave them with was, if you had to go back to the beginning with no preparation with PlayStation's Lombax and Zony robot.
Okay, that's it.
So since we have the exact same riddling,
That's funny.
yeah, we'll leave it. Read yours again. Yours is worded simpler than mine.
Okay. Go to the beginning with this PlayStation feline humanoid mechanic and her sentient robot.
Perfect. There it is. Leaving that out there for you. Send in your
good.
replies. How can they get a hold of us?
Well, you can reach out to us at the.village.idiom on Instagram or thevillageidiompodcast at gmail.com for the email, and on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter at 3 Minutes Gone.
Perfect. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. It's fun having something to do.
As always.
Enjoy starting the year off and looking forward to this upcoming year with you.
Good stuff.
So I am Skinny,
I am Jurassic starting line Mark.
and these are the Village Idioms.
Start from scratch.
That was awesome, guys. Thank you very much.
That's 3 minutes gone.